Once upon a time, in an animal village far away from where people lived, was a place where the animals lived together like one big, joyous family. The village was a lively paradise, full of lovely flowers, butterflies, creeping creatures in green forests, where the air was always filled with the sounds of laughter, music, as the animals went about their daily lives. Every morning, the animals would gather by the river to drink from the water flowing down the river. It was always their favorite place to start the day and to splash around. The birds would chirp merrily from the treetops, while the monkeys swung from branch to branch. The lions, strong and majestic, would lead the hunts, with the cheetahs and leopard close behind. Do you know what they hunt for? Delicious green leaves and fruits, yes. They will gather all the fruits and plant together and feast together, sharing the bounty of the land with one another, always ensuring that no one went hungry. In the afternoons, when the sun was still shining in the sky, the animals would gather in the village square, a wide open space shaded by towering baobab trees. Here, they would dance to the beats of the drums, the hippopotamus swinging left and right. The elephant would lead the dance, their trunks swaying in time with the music, while the smaller animals like the baby kangaroos and rabbits dancing around them. The tortoises, with their slow, graceful movements, would join in as well, moving in a line as they dance to their own beat. But what truly made them stand out was their beautiful hair, which flowed like a river down their backs. Their hair was their pride and joy. The other animals admired the tortoise's hair and would often compliment them on it. The young tortoises would gather by the river, helping one another braid and decorate their hair with colorful flowers that grew along the banks. "Your hair is so beautiful, tortoise," a young antelope once said, her eyes wide with admiration. "Why, thank you," Tortoise replied, smiling with pride. "It is a lot of work, but it's worth it." The tortoises would spend hours basking in the compliments, knowing that their hair made them special in the eyes of the other animals. They would walk through the village with their heads held high, enjoying the envious glances they received. One day, Tortoise, ever so hungry, caught the delicious scent of porridge through the air. It led him out of the animal kingdom to a village occupied by humans, a village called Mombasa. There lived a woman called Mama Mumbi, who was known for making the tastiest porridge in the village. "Ah, this porridge smells yummy," Tortoise murmured to himself as he peeked through the open window. But how could he get his hands on it? Being the clever creature he was, Tortoise devised a plan. He waited until Mama Mumbi went to fetch water from the river, leaving her steaming pot unattended. He quickly sneaked in without a second thought, dipped his hands into the pot. "Yay! Hot, hot, hot!" Tortoise screamed in pain, realizing too late that the porridge was boiling. He looked around to see if someone was watching him. He quickly scooped some of the hot porridge onto a banana leaf and instantly placed it upon his head when he heard footsteps coming. "Ah, that's better," he sighed. But he forgot that the porridge was hot. He screamed, "My head is on fire!" Oh! He started blowing the hot porridge on his head with cassava leaves. The porridge stuck to his hair, and as it cooled, it hardened. Pulling at his scalp, Tortoise tried to scrape it off, but with each pull, clumps of his hair fell out. As Tortoise was about to sneak away with the porridge cooling on his head, he heard the heavy footsteps of Mama Mumbi returning from the river. Quickly, he hid behind a large rock near the hut, but it was too late. Mama Mumbi already saw from afar. "Tortoise!" Mama Mumbi shouted, her eyes narrowing as she spotted him trying to sneak away. "What are you doing in my hut?" Tortoise froze, realizing he had been caught. He turned slowly, flashing his most innocent smile. Oh, Mama Mombi, I was just passing by. The smell of your delicious porridge pulled me to your hut. I thought you were inside so I could greet you. Mama Mombi, being wise and suspicious, wasn't fooled by his words. Passing by, you say? Then why do you look like a porridge thief with no hair on his head? Tortoise, trying to hide his embarrassment, said nervously, what hair? Oh, do you mean my head? It is a new style, Mamombi. I thought it was time for a change, to be different from others. Mamombi said, a new style, is it? And what is that on your head? It looks like... Is that my porridge? Tortoise immediately touched his head and felt the hardened porridge still clinging to his bald scalp. His mind raced for an explanation. No, I was told putting banana leaves on your head is good for the scalp. Makes it strong and shiny. But I think I left it on too long. And now look at what has happened. Mama Mombi crossed her arms, very angry with Tortoise's flimsy excuses. Tortoise, do you think I'm a fool? There is porridge on your head. Did you really think you could sneak into my hut, steal my porridge, and not get caught? Tortoise, realizing he was backed into a corner, decided to switch tactics. Oh, Mama Mombi, I would never intentionally steal from you. I was just so hungry and your porridge smells so good. I couldn't resist. But you are right, I should have asked. Please forgive me. Mama Mombi sighed. Her anger softened slightly. Tortoise, you've always been a trickster, but you've got to learn that your cleverness will get you into trouble one day. Look at you now, bored as an egg. And I'm not the only one you have wronged today. You have caused all the tortoises in the animal kingdom with your greed. Tortoise hung his head, though not entirely out of guilt. You are right, Mama Mombi. I let my hunger and my cunning ways get the best of me. I will make it up to you somehow. Mama Mombi said, her expression softened as she saw Tortoise's downcast face. It is not just about making it up to me, Tortoise. You need to learn to be honest and use your cleverness for good, not just for your own gain. Tortoise nodded, though he knew in his heart that his nature wouldn't change easily. I will try, Mama Mombi. I really will. With that, Mama Mombi turned and went back to her hut, leaving Tortoise to ponder her words. As he watched her disappear into her hut, Tortoise couldn't help but grin to himself. I am the smartest, he whispered. And with that, Tortoise walked away, eating the porridge he stole from Mama Mombi. By the time he had managed to remove all the porridge, his once beautiful hair was gone, leaving his head as bald as a rock. Well, that's unfortunate, Tortoise said, looking at his reflection in a nearby stream. But no one needs to know how this happened. However, the story of Tortoise's baldness spread like wildfire. The other tortoises, curious and concerned, approached him. Tortoise, what happened to your head? Oh, it is nothing, Tortoise lied. I discovered that when the sun shines directly on your scalp, you become very rich and full of wisdom. If you want to be rich like me, cut off your hair and you can have anything you want in the world. Then all the tortoises started cutting off their hair. But deep down, Tortoise knew the truth. And soon after, all the tortoises in the village found themselves going bald as well. The once long and beautifully haired tortoise clan became known as the bald tortoises, and they blamed Tortoise for their misfortune when they discovered that he lied to them. He was chased out of the animal kingdom because of this. He was sad and ashamed of his act. On his way to another village, he met an elephant called Kimani on his journey. Soon they became friends. Kimani was unaware of the tortoise's wicked scheme in the animal kingdom. They created an instant bond, always doing things together. They found themselves in a village called Masai Mara. The king of Masai Mara spotted Kimani the elephant and he said to himself, I want that big elephant. I am tired of riding on horses. I want to ride on a big elephant. Not long after, a grand announcement was made. The king of the animal kingdom had decided that his daughter would marry the cleverest animal in the land. Tortoise's eyes gleamed with mischief. He knew this was his chance. But there was a problem. His friend Elephant also had his eyes on the king's daughter. Tortoise, my friend, Kimani the elephant said one day, I'm going to marry the king's daughter. I am strong and wise. Indeed you are, Tortoise replied, hiding his jealousy. One day, Tortoise went to the king and told him that he is the smartest of all the animals in the kingdom. Even though he is slow in movement, there is nothing he cannot do. The king said quietly, I want to ride on your friend the elephant. If you bring him to my place, I will give you my daughter to marry. The tortoise said, no problem. I will show you that I am clever. I have a little plan, said the tortoise. So the tortoise went to Kimani, told him that he told the king about Kimani's desire to marry the king's daughter. Kimani with excitement screamed, what did the king say? The tortoise said, the king is very happy. He can't wait to see you. But how can this be? Said Kimani. Elephant's eyes widened with interest. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Tortoise leaned in close. All you need to do is to let me ride on your back when you present yourself to the king. I will whisper clever words into your ear, and the king will be impressed by your wit. He will give you his daughter. Elephant, trusting his friend, agreed. Unknown to him, the tortoise and the king had digged a big hole to trap the elephant and covered it with palm leaves. The day came. As they approached the king's court, Tortoise, perched on Elephant's back, whispered, tell the king you know the secret of why all tortoises are bald. Kimani the elephant, not understanding the significance, did as he was told. The king, intrigued, said, and what is this secret? Tortoise quickly whispered the answer into Elephant's ear so as to distract him from seeing the trap in front of the king. Speak, Elephant, the king commanded. What is the secret? Elephant, in his nervousness, blurted out, it is because they ate hot porridge. The court burst into laughter and the king shook his head. That's no secret. Everybody knows that. As he moved to the king, he fell into the pit. The elephant screamed in pain. The king was happy and gave his daughter to the tortoise. The elephant realized he had been outwitted. He realized that Tortoise was not a good friend. He was angry and made a vow to revenge. In the Maasai village called Masai Mara, where roles and responsibilities within the village were carried out by young men known as Maras. These were warriors and protectors of the community, fearless and very vigilant. They were the pride of the village, always ready to fight against the enemies of Masai Mara. The villagers were always dressed in recognized colorful shonkas, their tradition attires, which were predominantly red but also come in various bright colors and patterns, and their elaborate beadwork, very beautiful. The villagers loved their cattle and were always protective of them from wild animals. The king's daughter, Nima, was the jewel of the village. She would walk majestically in the palace, displaying the beauty of the Masai Mara. She was loved by everyone in the village, but the villagers showed their displeasure when they heard she was marrying the tortoise. Why is the princess marrying a tortoise? Murmured everyone. This is a taboo. It is unheard of. Her beauty was known far and wide, but what set her apart was her intelligence and wit. Nima was no ordinary princess. She was a woman with plans. On the day of her wedding, the villagers gathered at the king's palace to celebrate. They danced, drank until they were drunk. It was a big wedding. People from other villages were invited to their wedding party. It was a big celebration. The king was very happy. The tortoise was excited. He has gotten what he wanted. His secret plan was to marry the princess and become the king of Masai Mara one day. Dethroning the human king was not an issue for him. His weapon is his cunning ways of getting what he wants. But Nima, the princess, had her own plan, unknown to Tortoise. Before the wedding day, the king and Princess Nima had a meeting to discuss a plan against the tortoise. Father, Nima began, sitting beside the king, her voice barely above a whisper. I have come to discuss something important. King Omari, a man of great wisdom and power, seated in a large carved wooden chair, his sharp eyes, which had seen many battles and outwitted many, leaned forward. Princess Nima was not one to speak without reason, and when she did, it was always something of great significance. What is it, Nima, my daughter? The king asked, curiously. Nima glanced around the room, ensuring they were alone. The palace guards were posted outside, and the servant had retired to their night. Satisfied, she turned back to her father. It is about Tortoise, she said, her voice steady but carrying the weight of her thoughts. Tortoise? Asked the father. The one who tricked that foolish elephant and won your hand in marriage? Nima nodded. Yes, my to-be husband. That sounds strange, but father, you and I both know the truth. A human marry an animal is impossible. Our traditions forbid such unions. The tortoise may think he is one, but he is merely a pawn in a much larger game. The king's eyes gleamed with understanding. I see. You've always been sharp and smart, Nima. But tell me, what exactly do you have in mind? Nima took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. The tortoise believes he is clever, that he has outwitted Kimani the elephant. But he doesn't know that Kimani overheard him talking to himself in the bush to take over Masai Mara after marrying me. When Kimani informed me of this, ideas started trooping into my mind. So I called the tortoise. I told him that by marrying me, he would gain power, influence, and control over the animal kingdom. He believed me. Father, what if we could turn his ambitions against him? What if we could use his cunning acts to bring about his downfall and in the process take over the animal kingdom for ourselves? King Omari's expression remained neutral. Go on, he urged. Go on. Nima began to pace slowly around the room, her mind working through the details of her plan. The animals hate the tortoise for his wit and cunning act. His tricks have caused problems and discord among them. We can make the animals believe that the tortoise is plotting against them, and you know that Kimani the elephant is seeking revenge against the tortoise for what he did to him. We can use Kimani the elephant to convince them of Tortoise's mischievous plans against the animal kingdom. They will no longer see him as one of them, but as a threat. And how do you propose we do that? The king asked, his voice now filled with anticipation. We will deceive them, father, Nima replied, stopping to face him. We will create a story, one that paints the tortoise as a traitor. We will spread rumors that he is planning to use his marriage to me to dominate the animal kingdom, to turn the animals against each other for his own gain. The animals are already wary of his tricks. It won't take much to convince them that he is a danger to them all. We will suggest bringing our own men to protect the animal kingdom. As soon as we gain grounds, we strike and take over the animal kingdom. It will finally become ours. King Omari nodded slowly, considering her words. And what about the tortoise himself? He is cunning, as you said. He won't fall for such a simple trap. Nima smiled. That is where you come in, father. You will play the role of a concerned father, worried for his precious daughter's safety. You will invite the tortoise to a private meeting where you will express your fears about the rumors spreading in the animal kingdom. You will advise him to lay low, to avoid drawing attention to himself while we work to clear his name. The king struck his chin thoughtfully. And in doing so, we will isolate him, keep him somewhere we can control his movement and pretend to conduct a search for him. And after some days, tie him down, and present him to the animal kingdom to gain their trust. Exactly, Nima confirmed, her excitement growing. The animal will see us as heroes and make you king over them. King Omari stood, his imposing figure casting a long shadow across the room. Nima, this plan of yours is bold. It is dangerous, but it has the potential to succeed. The animal kingdom is vast, and its power, once unified, could be unstoppable. But we must be careful. The tortoise may be cunning, but we are Maasai. Our strength lies not just in our physical might, but in our wisdom, our ability to see through the illusions of others. Nima nodded, her mind already racing with the next steps. I will keep him close, Father. I will make him believe that I'm on his side, that I share his ambitions. And when the time is right, we will reveal the truth to the animals and the kingdom will be ours. The king and princess embarked on their plans to strike the animal kingdom. One evening, Nima and Tortoise went for a walk. The two strolled through the village, the sounds of drums and laughter in the background. Tortoise, Nima began, her voice soft but with a hint of something more. Do you know why I agreed to marry you? Tortoise, ever confident, smiled. Because he recognized my cleverness, of course. Nima chuckled. A sound that was both sweet and dangerous. Cleverness? Yes. But that's not all. I saw an opportunity. Tortoise smiled slightly. An opportunity? Yes, Nima said, stopping to face him. You see, Tortoise, you may have tricked my father and even your dear friend Kimani, but I know better than you think. I know you seek power and you have desire to rule. Tortoise tilted his head, intrigued. Power? Yes, I want to be the king of the animal kingdom. Not telling her the truth of his plan to be the king of Masai Mara. Nima's eyes gleamed in the fading lights. I can help you to rule the animal kingdom, of course. You see, the Maasai are more than just people of the earth. We understand the balance of power and how to use it. And I can use it to get you what you want, Tortoise said curiously. And what makes you think you can achieve that, Nima? Because, she said, stepping closer, her voice low and commanding, I am the daughter of a king. I have been taught to lead, to manipulate, and to get what I desire. You may be clever, but I am the one who holds the true power in this relationship. Tortoise narrowed his eyes. And what if I don't let you be part of this? Nima's smile was cold. You won't, because if you do, I will expose you to my father, to the entire animal kingdom. I will tell them how you tricked Kimani, how you deceived everyone to marry me. They will turn against you and you'll be left with nothing. Nima laughed, hiding her skin with the king from Tortoise. Tortoise knew he was in deep trouble, but he was also excited. This was the challenge he craved, the game he loved to play. Very well, Nima, he said, extending his hand. Let the plan begin. As they walked back to the village, the drums beat louder as if echoing the impending storm that was about to shake the animal kingdom. Nima had set her plan in motion, and Tortoise, ever the trickster, was excited that the animal kingdom would be his as well as the kingdom of Masai Mara. Tortoise had grown increasingly arrogant after his marriage to Princess Nima. He began making plans to take over the animal kingdom, believing that his wit and cunning schemes would easily outsmart the animals of the land. But what Tortoise didn't know was that Nima and her father, King Omari, were already 2 steps ahead of him. One evening, Princess Nima approached her father with a plan. Father, she began, her voice low and filled with determination. The time has come to rid ourselves of Tortoise's influence. He is a cunning creature, but his greed will be his downfall. King Omari nodded, his eyes narrowing. So what do you propose, my daughter? Nima leaned forward. we will spread a rumor throughout the animal kingdom that Tortoise is plotting to overthrow them and claim the throne for himself. The animals will panic, and in their fear, we will turn against Tortoise. Meanwhile, you will hide him in the deepest part of our land, far from the reach of the animals. When the time is right, you will send your warriors to invade the animal kingdom while they are in disarray, and we will take over. King Omari nodded. A smile slowly across his face. It is a brilliant plan, Nima. Tortoise will not know what hit him. The very next day, whispers began to spread like wildfire through the animal kingdom. The rumor was simple but potent. Tortoise, with his slaveways, had devised a plan to overthrow the kingdom and rule over the animals. The animals, already aware of Tortoise's tricks, quickly grew anxious. Birds whispered the news from treetop to treetop, while the land animals murmured in hushed tones. Fear and mistrust began to fester, and soon the kingdom was in turmoil. Tortoise, not aware of the growing unrest, continued with his daily activities, thinking himself untouchable. Meanwhile, King Omari had Tortoise brought into his palace under the guise of protection. Tortoise, the king said with fake concern, there are rumors spreading in the animal kingdom. The creatures are turning against you. They believe you seek to overthrow them. I cannot allow them to harm you. I will hide you in a safe place until this madness blows over. Tortoise, now afraid, agreed to be hidden away. He was taken to a remote cave deep within the Maasai land, where he was left alone to ponder his fate. While Tortoise remained hidden, King Omari's warrior prepared for their invasion. The king had chosen this moment carefully, knowing that the animals, distracted and divided by the rumors, would be vulnerable. Under the cover of darkness, King Omari's men descended upon the animal kingdom. They moved swiftly, capturing the leaders of the animal tribes and taking control of the land. By the time the sun rose, the animal kingdom was no more. King Omari's flag flew high over the land, and the animals, confused and leaderless, were forced to submit to their new rulers. Tortoise, the supposed mastermind behind the chaos, was brought out of hiding and brought before Princess Nima. Your cleverness has led to your downfall, Tortoise, Nima said coldly, as she looked down at the once proud creature. You thought you could outsmart everyone, but in the end it was you who was outsmarted. Tortoise was sad. As punishment for his deceit, Tortoise was made a slave to Princess Nima. He was punished and told her to sweep the palace ground every day and fetch water from the river every day. The once proud Tortoise, who had schemed to rule the animal kingdom, was now nothing more than a servant in the very palace he had sought to control. Princess Nima, satisfied with his outcome, ruled the animal kingdom with wisdom and fairness. She had proven that true cleverness was not just about trickery, but about sight and understanding the hearts of others. Under her rule, the land prospered, and the animals, though subdued, found peace once again. And as for Tortoise, he learned a valuable lesson. Even the most cunning of creatures can be outwitted by those who are patient and wise. It was a cool, quiet evening in the Maasai village. The atmosphere was peaceful. Children were seated under the moonlight tree, listening to storytelling by Isina, an old Maasai woman. The Tortoise and the Hunter. Inside a small dark room near the back of the palace sat the Tortoise quietly, thinking of how the princess betrayed him. I am her husband, said Tortoise angrily. We're supposed to work together. He had once been cunning and powerful, very close to ruling the animal kingdom, but now he was nothing, just a mere prisoner, controlled and instructed on what to do by other prisoners. Ha! I am done for, cried the Tortoise. His pride and his wit had crumbled under the power of Princess Nima's cleverness. I can't stay here forever. he muttered. I need to reclaim my power. I can't give up on life. I am a tortoise. I am different and special. The tortoise scanned the four corners of the tiny room for any means of escape. Now, Nima is the queen of the animal and Maasai kingdom. He knew that outwitting Nima was going to take more than just his clever speech or sober appearance. It would require a plan so devious that no one could see it coming. A plan to take what is rightfully his and to show the world that animals have the power to rule the world. Then his tiny eyes caught something, a small narrow window near the ceiling. He looked at it and moved closer towards the tiny hole on the wall. He started scraping the hole. Then he squeezed through it gently and gently. The palace guards were always lazy at night after drinking heavily, and he knew this was his best chance. He took a deep breath, pulled his shell through the narrow gap, and with a little effort, he was out onto the soft grass below. As the tortoise crawled through the palace garden, his heart raced. Will someone notice him and scream for the guards to wake up? After what felt like hours, he finally reached the edge of the palace grounds. He could see the vast savannah ahead of him, his path to freedom. Tortoise had been wandering the outskirts of the Maasai village for days. Weakened by hunger and exhaustion, he sought refuge beneath a large baobab tree. As he rested, thinking of how to survive, he heard a rustling in the bushes. His instincts kicked in, and he quickly hid behind a rock, watching as a tall figure approached. At first, it looked like a shadow, but as the figure grew closer, he noticed it was a hunter. A hunter? Was he sent to look for him? The hunter, dressed in the traditional Maasai garb, with a spear slung over his shoulder. The hunter's eyes were sharp and focused, looking for animals to hunt. The tortoise watched him carefully. The hunter seemed skilled, and more importantly, he looked desperate. Perhaps just as desperate as the tortoise himself. Instantly, a cunning idea formed in the tortoise's mind. This hunter could be his ticket back to power if he doesn't hunt him down as his game. The tortoise thought deeply about how to approach him. As the hunter knelt by the tree to rest, the tortoise slowly emerged from behind the rock. Good evening, mighty hunter, hailing him. You are the greatest hunter in the world. Your eyes are sharper than any eagle. Your weapon is the most powerful of all weapons. The tortoise praised in a low, sly voice. He wasn't sure if the hunter would spare his life, but he needs the hunter. Startled, the hunter looked around, confused. Who is there? It is I, the tortoise, once a powerful advisor to the king. I have a proposition for you. One that could change your life forever, the tortoise said, unsure of the reactions of the hunter. The hunter, intrigued, leaned closer. What sort of proposition? The tortoise grinned, his tiny eyes twinkling with mischief. You see, I know you from Masai Mara village, and most of the villagers complain about the iron fist ruling of the princess. I know the secrets of the palace, where all the artifacts, money, and treasures of Masai Mara are kept. I know the weakness of Princess Nima. Together, we can take control of the kingdom, but I will need your help. The hunter narrowed his eyes. Why would I trust you, tortoise? You are known for your cunning ways. Well, my cunning is exactly why you should trust me. The tortoise said smoothly. You are a hunter. You understand survival, just as I do. I have escaped from the clutches of the Maasai warriors, and now I seek to regain what was taken from me. The hunter, though suspicious, was intrigued by the tortoise's boldness. What's your plan? Simple, the tortoise said, pacing in front of the hunter. Nima is clever, but she has a heart that can be swayed. I need you to win her over. Make her fall in love with you. Once she is blinded by love, she will trust you, and through her, we will have control over the kingdom. The hunter looked at him suspiciously. And what do I get out of this? The tortoise smiled. We will rule together, my friend. We will have the power of the Maasai village, and I will control the animal kingdom. Together, we will be unstoppable. Unknown to Tortoise, Django the hunter was a spy from a neighboring village called Katu. He was sent to spy out Masai Mara, which was always attacking the village of Katu. Django was a seasoned warrior, tall and muscular, with a spear in hand and a quiver of arrows slung over his shoulder. While he carried the tools of a warrior, he hid a secret that could tear the kingdom of Masai Mara apart. Django was not here to hunt wild animals. He was a spy sent from the village of Katu, the kingdom Nima's father had attacked brutally for decades. His mission was simple: to spy out the kingdom of Masai Mara. But it was a dangerous mission for him. Infiltrate the Masai kingdom, get close to Nima the princess, and destroy her reign from the inside. As Django approached the gate of Masai Mara, he was greeted by guards who were skeptical of him. They stared at him suspiciously. "What do you want?" one guard asked, his voice harsh. "I'm a hunter," Django replied, bowing respectfully. "I have come to offer my skills to the kingdom of Masai Mara. I heard that Masai Mara kingdom is in need of strong men with hunting skills." The guard eyed him for a moment and walked around him, examining him before nodding. "You may enter." Django smiled, his heart pounding with fear of being sent back. "Of course," he said. As he passed through the gates, with anger in his heart, he was in the camp of the enemies. Years back, Katu had been a village full of life, much like Masai Mara. The people of Katu were peaceful and known for their skilled craftsmanship and beautiful vegetation. Django had grown up there, living a simple and peaceful life with his family until the war came. Nima's father, King Mala, had been a ruthless ruler. In his quest to expand the kingdom, he ordered the village of Katu to be attacked and took many of its people into captivity. Django's family had not been spared. His father's life was taken in the fighting. His mother and his sister were taken as captives. Django was able to escape the attack because he went to the mountains with other warriors for tactical training. He vowed to one day return and seek justice for his people. He had trained for years, becoming a skilled warrior and hunter. When the new ruler of Katu, Chief Tamba, began organizing a resistance, Django was chosen to be the spearhead of the revenge. His mission: infiltrate Masai Mara, win the trust of Princess Nima, and find a way to bring the kingdom to its knees. Justice must be served. Weeks passed and Django settled into life in Masai Mara. He quickly gained the trust of the villagers, who marveled at his swift hunting skills. His skills were clean, and he would at all times bring back more game than any of the other hunters. One of his prowess soon reached the palace. One evening, he was summoned to meet Princess Nima herself. Django had heard tales of Nima's beauty. None of that prepared him for when he saw her in the palace great hall. She was tall and graceful, her dark skin glowing under the firelight, adorned with colorful Maasai beads around her neck and wrist. "Django the hunter," Nima said, her voice strong and clear. "I've heard so much about you. It seems you've made quite a name for yourself here." Django bowed deeply. "I am honored, princess. It is my duty to serve your kingdom with my skills." Nima studied him for a moment, her eyes narrowing as she could sense something uncertain and suspicious hidden beneath his calmness. But she quickly discarded the thought and smiled. "I could use a man like you in my guard. We face many threats, both from within and beyond the walls. Your talent will be of great value to me." Django's heart raised. That was it, the moment he had been waiting for. To be part of Nima's inner circle would give him access to the palace secret, and he could finally carry out his mission. But as he looked into Nima's eyes, he felt a flicker of doubt. She was nothing like her father. She ruled with fairness and justice, not cruelty. I would be honored to serve, Princess, he said, though the weight of his mission pressed heavily on his conscience. In the following month, Django became one of Nima's most trusted guards. He was always by her side, accompanying her, advising her on matters of defense, and even protecting her during negotiations with rival villages. His loyalty and skill earned him a place of respect, not just among the palace guards, but also with Nima herself. But as Django spent more time with Nima, he began to see a side of her that he had never expected. She was not the cruel ruler he had envisioned. She cared deeply for her people, often visiting the sick and the elderly in the village, ensuring that everyone had enough food and water. She spoke of peace, of wanting to heal the wounds her father had caused during his reign. Django found himself torn. How could he betray a ruler who was so different from the tyrant who had destroyed his village? How could he carry out his mission when every day he saw the good Nima was doing for her people, and yet he is reminded of the cruelty of Masamara to the people of Katu? One evening, as they sat by the fire after a long day of hunting, Nima turned to Django and said, "You've never spoken much about where you come from, Django. Tell me, what is your home like?" Before Django could reply, the warriors blew a danger trumpet to alert the village of our impending attack. He grabbed Nima, rushed her into a secret cave for safety, and ran back to the town square to fight the invaders. Django fought fearlessly, protecting the village from attacks from outside. His mission was not to protect Masamara, but to destroy it completely. But he was already falling for the queen. Now, standing in front of the tortoise, with the idea of taking over the kingdom of Masamara as the king, was something he had never thought of. The hunter agreed, and he made a deal with the tortoise. Over the next few weeks, he began his courtship of Princess Nima. Using the tortoise's advice, he approached her with great care, never revealing his true intentions. Nima was cautious at first. She did not have much information about him. He was kind, respectful, and over time, she found herself drawn to his quiet strength and wisdom. The hunter brought Nima gifts from the wild, a rare bird's feather, a beautiful necklace made of bones and beads, and a shimmering stone from a hidden cave. Each gift was a symbol of his admiration for her, and though she had always been a strong and independent woman, she felt her heart slowly softening. Meanwhile, the tortoise watched from the shadows. Pleased with the progress, he whispered more strategies into the hunter's ear, guiding him on how to win Nima's trust fully. "She will soon be yours," Tortoise said one evening, "and once she is, the kingdom will fall into our hands." Django agreed. But as time went on, something unexpected happened. The hunter, who had entered this plan with selfish intentions, found himself genuinely falling in love with Nima. Her intelligence, grace, strength captivated him. She was more than just a means to an end. She had become someone he deeply admired. One day, Django received a visitor from Katu. He was sent to remind Django of his mission and to ask when the village of Katu should attack Masamara. Django told him, "Very soon. Tell the king, very soon." The following day, as Django and the princess walked through the village together, Nima shared stories of her childhood, of her dreams for the kingdom. The hunter, Django, felt a pang of guilt. Could he really betray her? "You seem troubled, my love," Nima said, noticing his distant expression. The hunter hesitated. "I've been thinking, perhaps there is another way. We don't need power to be happy. We could leave this place, start anew, somewhere far away." Nima looked at him surprised. "Leave? But my people need me. I could never abandon them." Nima's face fell, a shadow of guilt crossing her features. "I've heard stories of the wars my father waged," she said. "He was not a kind man. I've tried to right the wrongs he committed, and I know that it can never undo the pain he caused to other villages, especially Katu." Django's heart skipped. Does she know who I was? Did someone spy on me? The hunter realized then that he could not go through with the tortoise plan. His love for Nima had become genuine and he could not betray her trust. That night, Django was worried, torn between taking revenge and falling for the princess. He fell into a deep sleep. In his dream, Django sent word to King Tamba to get the warriors ready to attack Masai Mara, their enemies. He stood at the palace gate, his hand resting on the latch. His mind raced, memories of his village flashing before his eyes. He had sworn vengeance, sworn to bring justice to his people. But as he looked back at the palace, the place that had become his home, he felt a crushing weight on his heart. Katu's warriors stormed Masai Mara at midnight, while all the villagers slept. The plan was perfect, foolproof. But as the hour approached, doubt took over Django's soul. Could he betray Nima? Could he really bring destruction to a kingdom ruled by a woman who sought peace? Django ran back into the palace, shouting a warning to the guards. The warriors of Katu stormed the gate, but this time Masai was ready. Django fought alongside Nima and her people, defending the kingdom he had once sought to destroy. The battle was fierce, but in the end, Masai Mara emerged victorious. King Tamba was captured and the warriors of Katu were defeated. Django woke up from his dream. I love Princess Nima and her people. I am here to destroy her kingdom, to seek revenge for my people. But now, standing at the crossroads of betrayal and loyalty, he found himself questioning everything. When the tortoise learned of the hunter's change of heart, he was furious. He had come so close to regaining his power, only to be stopped by the very man he had trusted. "You fool!" the tortoise hissed. "You were supposed to make her fall in love with you so you could take the kingdom. And now you've gone soft. You've ruined everything." Then Django the hunter stood firm. "No, tortoise, I will not betray her. I love her." The tortoise now realized that he was now alone. His plan had crumbled and he had no allies left. Desperate and defeated, he ran off into the forest, vowing to find another way to regain his power. Django, unable to keep the secret any longer, confessed everything to Nima. The tortoise plan, his mission to spy on the kingdom of Masai Mara, and how his feelings for her had changed. At first, Nima was furious. She felt betrayed, hurt by man she had come to trust. But as the hunter explained his change of heart, she saw the sincerity in his eyes. He had chosen love over power, and that was something she could not ignore. "I forgive you," Nima said softly, "but the tortoise will not go unpunished. He must be brought to justice for his deceit." Nima, with the help of her warriors, tracked down the tortoise and brought him before the council. He was exiled from the Maasai kingdom and was forbidden not to return under the penalty of death. As the tortoise slunk away into the wilderness, he realized that his own cunning had been his downfall again. He had underestimated the power of love, and in the end, it had been his undoing. Django the hunter sent messengers to Katu. He knows they won't be happy with him, but he has found love. He wants peace to reign, and is going to become the king of Masai Mara. When the king of Katu heard this, he was initially angry, but later considered the hunter's request. After all, if Django becomes the king of Masai Mara, Katu will not be attacked again. The two villages came together to celebrate with King Django and Princess Nima. And as for the tortoise, he wandered the wild, forever scheming, but never again would he come close to the power he had once sought. Lesson learned: forgiveness can be more powerful than vengeance, allowing for the healing of old wounds and the building of new alliances.